I naturally rewatched the Super Mario Bros. Movie as the Super Mario Galaxy movie was and is approaching. I watched and reviewed the Mario Bros. Movie when it came out in 2023, but this recent rewatch, for whatever reason, made me want to do a re-review. I didn't have the kindest things to say about this movie when it came out, so I wanted to see if my opinion changed. For anyone on planet Earth, even if you don't play the Mario games, you know who Mario is and by extension the characters around him. Admittedly, I was never an active player of the Super Mario games or the Mario Kart games at any point in my life. 95% of the time I've been a PlayStation guy in my video game lifehood. The most I'd ever played of Mario was through the Smash Bros. Games. But despite this, I had excitement to watch the world of Mario brought to life in a feature-length film. That shit in the 90s don't count. Prior to this rewatch, I'd only seen the movie a couple of times. Once in theaters on its opening weekend, Friday night to be specific, and the other time when it was available on streaming later that year. This rewatch was courtesy of me buying the film on Blu-ray for only $9.99. That's the beauty of waiting a few years for the price to go down. That and I don't have Peacock anymore. In the Super Mario Bros. Movie, two plumbing brothers are transported to a magical universe where they're caught in the middle of a tyrant's quest for a princess. Pretty good one-sentence synopsis right there, if I do say so myself. Now I gotta say, this is one of the best looking animated films of all time. As this movie is produced by Illumination, which say what you want about them, but they have the millions of dollars to give their movies a great look, and this one is next level when it comes to the world of Mario brought to life through the visuals, rendering, and fluidity of movement. It's a real visual treat for the fans due to everything being visually faithful to how it's supposed to look, which that's what you want from any adaptation. But even for myself, who is no hardcore fan by any means, it's still great to look at. It makes the various action sequences all the better, whether it's Mario vs. Donkey Kong or the Mario Kart chase. Of course, due to the evolving nature of computer animation, that means this film will look somewhat outdated in 10 to 15 years, but for now, it looks fantastic. Also on the technical side, the score is just sensational. Getting to hear the classic Mario Nintendo themes in orchestra fashion. I will say, for as great as the score is, equally as annoying are all those needle drop moments of random songs for no reason. I like the Take On Me song, but why the is it playing during a Donkey Kong race scene? And no movie should ever try to use Holding Out for a Hero after Shrek 2. I think the story threads that bring all this visual craziness together are mostly okay. Keep in mind my lack of knowledge of deep Mario lore, but Bowser, at least initially, presented himself as a nice villain. And you have a classic underdog falling in love with someone 10 times out of his league, so you had a solid story setup. I like that your story setup is easy to follow, and more importantly, they didn't try to stuff too much into one movie, which of course you gotta save some stuff for a sequel. Where this movie needed to be more stuffed was its character development. Character-wise, there isn't anything worth a damn in this movie. No notable growth, nothing to really attach yourself to this as a film, if you take away the context of the larger franchise. Once Mario and Peach team up, stuff just happens scene to scene, in terms of just finding a way to get to the next video game type action sequence. As I said, the visuals and by extension the action are fun, but there's just not that connection character-wise to what you need from a movie. And no, that brother moment at the end doesn't count, as that is not the focus of a majority of the movie. It's where this movie's identity as an Illumination film takes hold, as their movies, with a couple of exceptions, are minimal effort besides the visuals. When it comes to the majority of the filmmaking qualities, you need to really elevate the experience. This movie thankfully never gets to the Minions level of stupid, but the worst scene easily in this movie was that dog in the bathroom scene towards the beginning. That was f***ing terrible. That was some reject Secret Life of Pets material right there. Which, how bad does the scene have to be to get rejected by those movies? I also really hated that stupid blue star. Every line or cutaway to that thing was just cringe. Admittedly, I've also never been the biggest fan of that Peaches song. I just think it gets a little too silly, But everyone seems to love it, so I'll take the L on that one, and I can say it's grown on me a little bit. I think the best thing this movie did character-wise was a new characterization for Princess Peach, evolving from the helpless damsel type role to more of a take-charge, active, capable leader. Now, in the wrong hands, this change could have been pretty cringe, but thankfully it wasn't over the top, and it was well done execution-wise in terms of how it worked for the story, plus good voice work from Anya Taylor-Joy. All the voice work here is pretty good. No one should have wanted to hear an hour and a half of Chris Pratt's over-the-top Italian accent. I think his Mario voice he came up with is fine. I don't think it's great either, but I'm not enough of a fan to care. While I think the voice work from everyone is fine here, it's your typical mid-2000s DreamWorks thing they do in this film, which is just grab a bunch of celebrity names just to have them in the movie. Seth Rogen was perfect for Donkey Kong, and I like the characterization they gave for him. But as much as I love Keegan-Michael Key, it's pointless having him voice Toad, as you can't recognize his voice in the film. By the time you get to the climax, this movie just didn't give me the character development or strong enough story set up to leave any kind of impact. It was one of the most meaningless climaxes I've ever seen for a movie on this scale. So for me, it's the very definition of a meh movie. Great to look at, had fun with some scenes, but overall I had an empty feeling, which is pretty much exactly how I felt 3 years ago. In other words, this re-review was just for shits and giggles. The perfect comparison to the Mario movie would be the Sonic films. Those Sonic movies obviously skew younger also, but I think they put a lot more effort into the writing and characters to make a real movie.
I hate mushrooms.
But to its credit, the Mario movie gives fans enough of what they want to see, and it's certainly watchable enough, which I guess helped it be the absolute box office juggernaut that it was. I hope the Super Mario Galaxy movie can up things when it comes to those other filmmaking qualities, because if they can, in addition to the sensational visuals, it'll be a real treat of a movie, and that's coming from someone who is not a hardcore fan by any means. But I have my tickets for Wednesday night, so I'm excited to check out the film. But that'll do it for this re-review of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching.
Wahoo!